Oh. Oh, hi. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm doing. Hey, it's been a long time since I've done this. And yeah, this is, quite the challenge. I'm on early just to, oh, hey, Nana's Joy, I see you. But why aren't you here with me on this? You can hear me, right? Okay.
Dr. Ashish Kabra.
Oh, and of course, my cardiologist has just called. You know, hold on. Okay, I'm back. I'm still trying to get things set up here. And okay, so you can hear me. I don't know. I sent Nana's Joy a link so that, you can link on to this chat thing. But you have to go to you should have a notification in your email. If I remember right, we cannot be on at the same time. Okay, I don't remember that. I remember that I send you a link and then you click on the link and then you're in. That's what I remember. But again, been a long time. I hate that friggin' dog. The neighbor's dog just barks and barks and barks. Makes me crazy. Okay. Oh, great. Now my dog's going to start barking. Zip. There's no barking. Okay. So anyway, thought we'd do and okay, give me a minute. Shut up. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay, interestingly enough, though I'm back. Okay. Oh, that was delayed. Okay, I am back now. Okay. Oh, I need to turn that off. Okay. Now I need to go over here. Okay. So anyway, I forgot about the delay. Okay, so Yeah, the dog still drives me crazy sometimes. And yeah, and I'm not supposed to be doing anything that causes me any stress because my heart could just like blow up inside my chest. So I'm trying not to do that. I clicked on what you me, but this is all I get. Okay. Well, let's look at that. Okay, I'm trying to fix it so that Nana's Joy can get in. And now I'm looking at a screen that's frozen. Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't. I don't know why the screen's frozen. Oh, okay, because that was something else. Let me go back over to the email portion. There we go. Close that. And of course, just before I went on, I had no internet. So there's just something about doing this. If anything can go wrong, it absolutely goes wrong. I don't understand why you can't get on Nana's Joy. Okay. Nana's Joy, I'm sending to your email the link that should get you. You know what? Let me just click that. Oh, and there you are. So you're trying to give me a heart attack. So that's what's going on. Because every bad word that I've ever thought of in my life, yeah, flashed across my eyes.
Yeah.
In big red letters. And they all started with like MF and F. Oh my God. Did you forget?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I had to settle.
I only got one email and I clicked on it and this is what I got. And then I went back and looked, the other email showed up.
Yeah. And it's the exact same link that I sent you the first time.
Mm-mm. Two different.
Okay. Because it really looked like the exact same link. But that's okay. It doesn't matter.
One came that said one came that said Hangout. One came that said YouTube.
Okay. I don't know what happened right there, but I have no idea what you said, but it did go ping, 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 ping. It made a weird noise. Can you say that again?
Okay, you got me?
Yeah.
Okay. The first email came in and it just had a screen that said YouTube. I clicked on it and I got you up on YouTube. Then when I went back after you said you should be on here, I went back and looked and there was another email that said Hangout. So I clicked on the Hangout and that brought me here.
I think that was it doesn't matter. We're over it. Okay, so what are we gossiping about?
Well, we don't start for 10 minutes. I'm going to finish my dinner, so just talk.
Okay. For the whole 2 viewers that are here, hello. And it's probably me and Nana's Joy. We're probably the 2 viewers. Yeah. Anybody got any good gossip? Any good gossip? Okay, here's what's going on with me. Whether you know this or not, on June 10th, I had what is called a widowmaker heart attack. People generally don't survive these. And the reason that they don't survive it is because one of the veins that feeds the heart is choked off from blood altogether, and the muscle doesn't contract anymore. And so I don't know how much damage I've done to my heart at this point. Medication and a stent is keeping me alive. But, you know, people who die from sudden heart attacks are dying of widowmakers. And that's what I had on June 10th. The interesting thing about the June 10th event was that I have been feeling not great. I haven't been feeling great for like 6 months, honestly. And day before, which was Saturday, I went out and walked the dog, and I was feeling some really tightness, and it was hard for me to catch my breath, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so, of course, I went back and I put a aspirin under my tongue, and after a few minutes, I felt better. And then the next day, I went over to my daughter's house, was walking up her driveway, and got to the top of the driveway, and I couldn't catch my breath. And the tightness on my chest was like I had a Volkswagen bug sitting on my chest. That's how it felt. So we called 911. Paramedics came, and and I'm really serious. If you haven't watched the other video, what is it, like a rule that like those guys have to be like really hot guys? I mean, what is that? So anyway, the hot guys came and took me to the hospital, and which it was kind of like I was joking with my daughter later, at least had I died, I had really hot guys touching me before I died. I thought that was kind of a bonus. But anyway, I went to the hospital, and I was there for probably an hour and a half. And they had me hooked up on an EKG, and they took blood, and we were waiting for the test results to come back on the blood. The paramedics put nitro gel patch on me, and which lifted the Volkswagen bug off my chest. And then what happened next? So I'm sitting there. I've been there for like an hour and a half. It was probably 9 o'clock in the morning ish when I got in, maybe 9:30. And so, yeah, did I have breakfast? No. Was I hungry? Yeah. Did I want them to bring me food? Yeah, pretty much. But they said, until they got the test results back, because, I would let the nurse know when the tightness returned to my chest, and then she would nitro me again. And then 20, 30 minutes would go by, and then she'd nitro me again. And, okay. And, then because of the nitro gave me a massive migraine, she injected me with, I don't know, heroin. I don't even know, morphine. She injected me with morphine. And I immediately had a heart attack. It was like the shot went in, and I started having a heart attack. Now, let me tell you about the heart attack. First of all, there was no pain. It was not painful. What happened was that every pore in my body opened, and sweat started coming out of my body. I also couldn't hold still, and it was like every muscle in my body needed to move. I mean, my toes, everything needed to move. And of course, they're trying to keep the EKG sticker things on, and they're sliding off because I'm sweating. Within seconds, I could feel the water running down my neck, and it was water. It was as though I had been doing aerobics for like 8 hours, that kind of sweat. And so some guy leans over me, and it was the admitting, it was the doctor that saw me at the ER, and he leans into my face and goes, "You're having a heart attack." And I looked at him and I said, "No shit." And so, he thought that was hysterical. I mean, he's laughing, and he's like, we can't use the paddles. They're getting me ready to use the paddles in case my heart stops beating, but they couldn't use the paddles because I was wet. Everything was wet. So I told them, I said, get me ice packs, put them under my knees, put them under my back, put them under my neck, under my armpits. And so if I could cool down, because honestly, it was like I had an instant fever. If I could cool down, then, hi, Deborah, I would stop, my muscles would stop spasming. And so anyway, the ice packs worked. And the cardiologist walked into they're feeding stuff into I had 3 central lines. they put in another one, and I had already had 2. And so I had 3 central lines, and they were pumping all kinds of medication into me. Don't know what, don't care. I was never afraid. I was never like, oh, I'm going to die. No, there was never that moment of, holy crap, I'm going to die. It was kind of more like, are they going to like work? Or are they just standing around looking at me? Or, what's happening here? And the problem was the cardiac team is the people that I'm talking about, because they hit for the cardiac team. Zip. Okay, now zip. Okay. Every time he does this, I could just hit him. And it is so jarring for me. Zip, there's no barking. He's barking at my son-in-law. But anyway, I'm in my RV, as you can tell. I'm doing my recovery at my daughter and son-in-law's house, and I'm sitting in their driveway. And, it's fine. I really want to go, but I can't. So anyway, the cardiac team is there. They rolled me and put some kind of board underneath me in case they needed to use the paddles. They wouldn't, I guess, electrocute my entire body, or so I have no idea what they were doing. But as they were doing that, the cardiologist walked in, and he was coming down to talk to the guy that was in the next room to me. And he was coming to take him down to the cath lab. And so he looked at my EKG and he said, no, I'm taking her now. She's not going to live much longer. And I still wasn't afraid. I still didn't have any, there was still nothing that said, hey, you're going to die. There was nothing in my brain that said you're going to die. And so, Zip, go lay down. Now, go lay down. And so, Zip, go lay down. So anyway, I exercised him before I did this. I did all kinds of things so that he wouldn't be this dog. So anyway, they took me down to the cath lab, and, I'm totally conscious. Still, there was no pain. It was the sensation of something crushing my chest with pressure. And what happened next? He put me up on the screen. He opened my femoral artery. He shoved a wire up in there with a camera, and took pictures of my whatever those veins are or whatever. And he saw where the blockage was, and then he fed the stent up into the blockage and opened it up. And if you watch the video, I showed you before, after. And all of a sudden, yeah, it was just like off my chest. Again, the Volkswagen bug came off my chest. And I feel fine. I'm sure I looked like crap, but I felt fine. He said, how are you feeling? I said, I feel fine. So I went to whatever that's called after you have some kind of procedure or whatever, where the nurse watches you like a hawk. What is that? That is called recovery, something like that, cardiac recovery. And then the following day, they moved me to the cardiac floor. And so I felt fine. I felt like, hey, could I go home? No? Okay. But I really felt fine. And I was probably, yeah, I can honestly say I was the healthiest person on the floor. Because I walked around. Once he came up and saw me during rounds, I said, can I get up and walk around? And he said, yes, please. And so I said, because if I'm going to really have another heart attack, something, I'd really rather have it here. So let me go walk around and, test out your stent. And so I walked around. All the patients on the floor were like on ventilators, and unconscious. And it was really interesting that there was only one woman who was conscious. All the rest of them were, I guess, in the state of dying. I don't know. Thanks, Bunny.
Tell them what they called you.
Oh, they called me the stint that saved her own life. When the orderly guy, then they're not called orderly, I think they're called transportation. But anyway, he came to get me to take me down for an echocardiogram. And so he came up and brought the chair in and checked my, wristband things, make sure that he's transporting the right person. And so he looks at my name and he goes, "Oh my God, you're the stent." And I said, "Well, I have a stent." And he goes, "No, you're the stent from yesterday." And I said, "Yeah, but, I got a stent yesterday." What does that mean, the stent? And he said, the entire ER and the cardiac floor, they were all talking about you and how you went through it so calmly, that there was no panic, there was no nothing. And you were telling people what to do to save your life. And I thought that was really interesting. I don't know what people do when they're having a heart attack. It's my first real heart attack. I have had a cardiac event in the past. And I have a mitral valve that, could use replaced. Oh, well, actually, no. My mitral valve isn't as calcified as I thought. So the echocardiogram, kind of showed that. So I was pretty happy about that. But the other thing is that I could literally, I got like, whatever, till the 10th of July, I can literally drop dead at any second, which I thought was interesting. The first 30 days are the most critical. And so the doctor said, just try to relax. He gave me an enormous prescription of Xanax. And when I say enormous, I mean 90 pills. 90. 1% Xanax, or 1% milligrams, or whatever the hell it is. 1 milligram Xanax. And so I've got like Xanax for a lifetime now. And I took 1 Xanax one day and said, I will never do that again, because I don't want to live in a coma. I really don't. That's not fun for me. And as a matter of fact, I have, the whatever that's called, that says, yeah, I don't want to live in a coma. Thanks. Pull the button or unplug me or whatever. I don't want to do that. Hi. FR3 at last. Oh, free at last. Oh, that's good. I like that. Okay. But, so not dead. That's basically what I say every morning when I get out of bed. Okay, new day, not dead.
That's what she called. She called me and she said, "Let's have a hangout and call it We're Not Dead."
Now, Nana's Joy is going to tell you about her fun 6 months. But let me say this before I turn it over to Nana's Joy, and she's going to tell you about back surgery. Is that you should all go get a MR or EKG on your heart. Just go and let them take a look at it. And I'll tell you why that's beneficial. It's so when the cardiologist gets you into the ER and you're possibly having a heart attack, he's got something to compare it to. Well, 2 years ago, this is what was happening. Well, this year, this is happening. Holy crap, we could have a problem. And, apparently there are heart attacks, not mine, but apparently there are heart attacks that you just medicate out of it. It's just a medication thing. They don't put stents in or crack your chest or any of that crap. Now, when I was reading about heart attacks, they do them in like A, B, C, D. My heart is in, whatever that's called, failure. And it's a C. It's not A, it's not B, it's C. So, and then there's D, and then that's it. D is like you're dead. C is like you have, what the hell is it called? Hold on, let me look. And let me put my glasses on and look. Oh, so,
Like congestive heart failure or something.
oh yeah, I'm in congestive heart failure. Yeah, that's what it's called, congestive heart failure. And which I've been in congestive heart failure for 15 years. And then there's something called ACC/AHA. And that's what stage you're in. Like cancer, they always say, oh, it's stage 1 or 2 or whatever. These heart attacks heart condition is described the same way. So my heart condition is stage C. It only goes to D. And then I guess it's, heart replacement or whatever. Don't know. But I don't plan on getting to that place. And so I began my cardiac, not that I haven't already started, but there's an official building that you go to that's associated with the cardiac people that I'm going to. And it's called a cardiac wellness center. And basically you exercise with a heart monitor on. That's really all it is. It's exercising with a heart monitor and then getting the heart to be at a certain beats per minute or something. So he wants my heart to stay at like 90 to 110 during some period of time. Well, whatever. It'll get there or it won't. But I start that on Tuesday. And then the other thing, let me tell you about the 6 months that I had before this heart attack. And I'm telling you this so that if you're having similar symptoms, you might want to go and just go to a cardiologist. Get a referral on your insurance or whatever. But I have been having agonizing lower back pain, agonizing hip pain, agonizing pain in my groin on the left-hand side. Okay, I don't know how else to describe that. And when I say agonizing, I mean, I have been downing medication to get past it and it wouldn't let me past it. The pain never went away until he put the stent in and it immediately went away. I have no more back pain. And this was low. This was on my hips, low pain. And so if you've got lower back pain, I went to the doctor I went to the emergency room for this back in January or February. And they said nothing. I said, this has got to be like ovarian cancer or something like that. And he's like, no, we got nothing. But they didn't hook me up to an EKG because had they hooked me up to the EKG, they might have seen that I was, having some heart difficulty and I wouldn't have had to go through the whole full-blown heart attack. But, and yeah, I'll be talking to them about that because that really angers me. But it ended up that the pain the last 2 weeks before June 10th, again, painful, like it was literally like I got arthritis overnight, crippling arthritis overnight. There wasn't anything gradual about it. Or I had screwed up my back so bad, it was all I could do to walk. And, because I went to the emergency room, I figured that, I must be crazy. And, we're in the middle of a opioid epidemic. And seriously, this was in January, February when I went to the emergency room. The doctor walks in and says, hi, how are you? And I said, in pain. And he said, you want morphine? And I was like, no, I don't. And I left there with 90 um, Vicodin or hydrocodone or whatever the hell it's called. And that's crazy to me. And what I was really having was congestive heart failure. That's what was going on. Um, and I remember talking to my daughter. She came and sat with me and the nurse when I was in recovery or whatever that's called. And what was really funny is she's like, "You look really bad." I was like, "Thanks." Well, I just had a heart attack, so it's hard to look good. But she and I were joking when she was leaving. I mean, when I was being carted out by the paramedics, she was like, we were joking, like, okay, if I don't see you later, I love you very much. It was that kind of thing. And we shouldn't have done that, because I was very close to dying. And so she would have ended, I mean, for the rest of her life, she would have, I don't know how she would have felt about joking. The last time she saw her mom, she was like joking about, okay, well, and it was weird. It was definitely very weird. But, if you're having lower back pain, because women don't have heart attacks like men. The other thing that was happening to me was these two fingers, left arm, these two fingers were numb. And now I have feeling back in these fingers. It was just these two, numb, and like they were asleep. That's how it felt, like they were asleep. And yeah, well, my daughter and I had planned to hang out for the entire day. I'm free at last. That's who I'm talking to. But go get an EKG, everybody. Actually, there's some kind of service. If you don't have insurance or you don't want to go through your insurance, which, okay, I don't really know why people would do that. But if you don't have any insurance and you don't have any money, go get whatever your state provides for medical care. Just get this done. But there's some kind of service. I've seen it on TV, and $125. And they basically do EKGs on all of your arteries, is what they do. So, and your heart is, got arteries in it. So I think it's like a really good idea to do that. So Nana's Joy is now going to talk about her
my 6 months.
Yeah. Take it away.
Well, what happened to me was 2 years ago, I had a back fusion due to arthritis, and it was going along pretty good. I fell the first year. I got really sore from that fall. Then I fell again last year when I was in Florida and really banged myself up. And then during the year, I got worse and worse and worse, and got so to the point in November I would get muscle cramps in my legs so bad I couldn't walk. And so I made an appointment. Well, I went to the hospital first, and they said, well, you've got all the signs of a herniated disc. You should see your surgeon right away. So I made an appointment with the surgeon. And of course, he was out of town. So I couldn't see him. So then I thought, well, I don't know what to do. And the nurse said, well, let's order all the pictures. I can't do an MRI. I have to do a myelogram with the CAT scan. So I said, when can I get that done? Of course, they couldn't do that until December. And this is in November. So I said, well, if they can't do it right away, and we're supposed to leave for Florida early December. I said, let's just go. So my husband and I drove everything down to Florida, got all set up, and I flew back. I said to my husband, you don't need to go. It's just tests, and I'll fly back and get this all done. So I did. I went through the thing. My sons took me and went through all the stuff you have to go through for those tests. And then I waited to hear, and they said, well, they all came back. They don't classify anything with your back an emergency unless you can't pee or have a bowel movement. So she says, we make an appointment and you can't see the doctor for till he gets back from vacation. So I said, well, I'm going to fly back. If it's not an emergency, I'm going to fly back to Florida. So I made arrangements to have a friend pick me up early in the morning. And she picked me up and walked into the house. And she took one look at me and she said, you don't look good. And I said, well, I've had a bad night, but I'm going anyway. So they took me to the airport. We walked in. I said, I got to sit down. Sat down for a half hour because I knew if I got through TSA that if I got on the plane, they'd have to stop the plane in mid-flight because I was in so much pain. So I finally said, I need to go to the hospital. And so she said, let's call your son and see if we can bring you to him and let him take you because I wouldn't know what to tell the people. And I said, okay. So we got up to walk. And I couldn't even walk across the concourse to get out, go down the ramp to get out of the place. I just told him call an ambulance. So I went from the airport to the hospital via ambulance. And I was in the hospital 6 days in excruciating pain. And they just kept throwing drugs at me. I had fentanyl IV, fentanyl 3-day-long patches. I had Oxycontin long and Oxycontin short, all going in me at the same time on top of a real strong muscle relaxers and everything else you can think of. And no doctor came to see me. My sons were having a fit. The group that my surgeon's in said they weren't getting the messages. So 3 days up there, just the hospitalists giving me these drugs. Nobody came. So my son called and talked to him, and they said, oh, we'll get somebody up there. But nobody really came. It was just the hospitalists. They finally let me out 6 days later. The only drug they took away was IV fentanyl. Sent me home. I didn't know how dangerous these drugs were. And what they had done was hook me on the drugs. And so I had to go and navigate the pharmaceuticals because they wouldn't give them to me. And it was just a mess. I won't go into big detail. I had to hire in a kite. I had to try to navigate that. And that was terrible. And so I got to the pain clinic so I could just make it to the next doctor. And he said, come in. But I couldn't get out of my house. I couldn't even walk. And so I had to hunt for a used quadriplegic chair that could lay down as electrified. And we got that, had it shipped up to our town, and then finally made it to the doctor. And he said, well, we got to do surgery. This was in early January. And he said, we can't do the surgery till March 7th. Well, I was bedfast at this point. He wanted me to see another doctor. I saw another doctor to confirm what he was believing. Only the other doctor said, well, what he thinks is wrong, I think it's in a different area. And so he did a bunch of tests, and sure enough, he was right. So those two operated on me after spending 2 months flat on my back in bed. And then I was in a brace for 3 months. And now I'm trying to walk again and do all this stuff. And I'm going through a back therapy like RV lady's going through with her heart, or is going to be going through. So we're a pair gimping around. In the meantime, I had to detox off of the drugs. And that was an interesting experience because they told us how dangerous it was and how I could drop dead at any time. And I said, what do I do? Forget to breathe? And they said, no, you just die. And they're supposed to send you home with a rescue. So I'm telling you, if you get put on fentanyl, don't leave the place until you know that you have a rescue thing, because your partner or your roommate or your whatever will be the only person able to save you. And you only get 2 tries, because you have to use the rescue thing once and wait 3 seconds and then use it again if you're not breathing. So you only get those twice, and then you just die. So don't ever let them leave, give you fentanyl and send you home without a rescue. That's what I learned. But anyway, I'm on the mend. I'm walking and getting around. I'm still very sore, and I got a long time to build myself back up, but you can't keep good people down. Isn't that right, RV lady?
It's when you're dead, you don't know it anyway. So what's there to fear?
Right.
I mean, when it's over, it's over. And, I guess that's kind of how I look at it and why I'm not afraid. I could not endure what you have endured. The having the brace on and not being able to move or walk or, whatever. And then, dealing with the weather elements as well, because even when you could move, it was like, oh, there's ice out there, so you can't go outside, or it's raining or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that would have made me insane. I wouldn't have been able to do the back thing. The heart attack thing, yeah, bring it. A piece of cake. But something like the back thing, no. Okay, now I want to talk about the Carolyn line screw thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm reading the comments. Okay, I really feel she was just telling about her experience and he got his panties twisted. Okay, wait a minute. Do you think Carolyn would lie? Yeah, well, she lied to the Canadian, Border Patrol on the way through. So would she lie to us? Yeah. I really feel she was just telling her experience. Okay, I read that. I think Andrew is more pissed that she left the video monetized than anything else. Then he posted the second, and yeah, I'm reading this aloud. Sorry. Okay, I thought she did cut out. When you were talking, Anna's Joy, you did cut out for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
And I had my microphone off because I was, reading the comments and stuff like that, and then commenting, and I was laughing, and I didn't want people to think I was laughing inappropriately. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. The thing, okay, let me say this. I don't follow Carolyn. I don't know, what her gig is, other than she gives really, really bad RVing advice. And I'm sure I'm guilty of that as well. But, I never tell anybody, please go off to a remote location on a dirt road where there are no lights or no internet connection and, camp there. That would just never occur to me. It's something I would do, but it's not something I would advise others to do. And that's when I really had a problem with her. Was, she was encouraging people, even though there were a couple of places that she went to, she was like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you where this is in case I ever want to come back. Okay, selfishness. But, she hasn't been in our veer very long. And not that you need to be an expert or whatever to make YouTube videos about RVing, but and I have this persona about me that just is like, oh, the complete authority, whatever. And, you know, I could be wrong too. But I think that um, for those people who follow her, she's about marketing. You know, she's not about sharing information or, you know, sharing life on the road. She's about marketing herself, her channel, making money, that sort of thing. Okay. You know, I think that I'm kind of wondering if somebody said something about Bob. I think, or Free at Last said, you know, maybe she should go back to Bob. You know, that was really her entry into, because, you know, Bob's been around for a while. And again, I don't subscribe to his channel, but just because he doesn't do things that are interesting to me. And those are the people I subscribe to, or people who are doing something that are interesting to me. If they're fixing their RV, or they're traveling someplace insane or wonderful, or, you know, they know great boondocking locations and they want to share that information, and, you know, stuff like that. Now, yeah, Deborah, she said that she was in marketing before, you know, she was an RVer. And which is all well and good. You know, there are hundreds of thousands of people who are using YouTube as a marketing mechanism for income. But the problem I have with Carolyn, and this is my own opinion, is that she's a fearmonger. You know, her advertising is geared towards, I was in the shower and somebody knocked on my RV door. Or it was the middle of the night and somebody knocked on my door. You know, she does that kind of thing. And for people who are out there trying to figure out whether an RV, you know, life is suitable for them, you know, they're going to think that, you know, every time you turn around, somebody's beating on your door and you're out in the middle of nowhere in a national forest, but somebody's beating on your door. You know, that's to me not representative of our community, which is, you know, the RVers, you know, like to share and blah, 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 blah. Thank you for your insight. I'm kind of gullible and always trusted you. Yeah, don't trust me. I don't know anything. But, you know, I think that if you're going to make, I don't know how many videos she's made. And I want to say she's been making, what, videos for a year, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah.
And she is in marketing. And I think, and she has a book that you can buy on Amazon that I think talks about like buying bots and things like that in order to grow your channel, you know, that sort of thing. And I think that's how she started out, was doing the bot thing. And I don't know anything about bots or, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, once again, I'm sure I've said this at least 100 times. Yeah, I don't care how many viewers I have or whatever that is. That doesn't make any difference to me. And, you know, I don't need 30,000 viewers. That's not fun to me. It's not fun to me because I can't know 30,000 people. You know, I have like 2,000 viewers, and there are some of you that I know. You know, it's like we have a typing relationship, and, you know, some of you send me emails to my email, and, you know, I always respond. And, oh, she talks politics? Okay, I must have just breezed right through all that. Yeah, because, yeah, I don't do politics. Let's see. So angry about
You know what? You know what?
get angry about men.
When I saw her video, the first, you know, video, if you're going to go through the highway of tears,
Yeah.
then why would you hang out there, first of all? as a single woman? Why would you hang out there? And then if a man came up and it creeped you out, why would you stay around?
Well, why wouldn't you call the police?
Yeah, why wouldn't you call the police? There was a lot of little things that didn't smell right in it, and she got called out, and then she got emotional about it
Yeah.
because
And that
somebody
was like,
called her out, and she kind of made men seem like creeps,
yeah.
and they're not all creeps. And so I think Line School, a Screw, who is cocky anyway and is just his nature, uh, let her have it, and she didn't like it.
Right. And the other thing that she does, of course, and because she's in marketing, is she takes out all the comments that are she doesn't want on there.
Right, you never see a bad comment on her.
Yeah. And there are other people that do that as well. I don't, because I just don't want to bother. I don't care. And
Unless they're dirty or showing pictures.
oh yeah,
Or,
unless they're like offensive in some way,
yeah.
then yeah, they're gone. But generally, if you want to say something horrible to me, go ahead. Because I'm going to respond just in kind. And a lot of people don't like that. And yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Tough.
Yeah.
If you're going to be mean to me, I'm going to be mean back.
But she scared everybody from going, if you're a single woman, from going on a trip to Alaska because,
yeah,
and if you know the Highway of Tears is there, why in the hell didn't you go up on the Alaskan Highway?
yeah. I don't get, and this is when she was really marketing, when she was sitting on something, guardrail, whatever, stone. I don't know what the hell she was sitting on, but there was that poster that was flapping in the breeze while she was sitting there eating her sandwich, and it was about a missing person, woman. And so, why she wouldn't say, I don't know. It just seems so callous to be sitting there stuffing your face while, here's this person that, has met some kind of end, maybe, has disappeared, and you're just sitting there eating sandwich and no big deal. And then, yeah, she was exploitive. Absolutely. It was exploitive. And I don't like that. I think it, belittles women. Though actually belittles everybody.
Well, when she first told about it, I think she was kind of light about it because
Yeah.
she said her dog ran right up to him and,
Well, yeah, the guy.
Yeah.
They're on the highway of tears. Some creepy guy approaches you saying, come with me. I do tours in my car.
Yeah.
And that doesn't prompt you. I mean, she said she got in her RV and she drove away, but and that's the comment that I put on her comment section was, you didn't call the police because, you get a vehicle description, a description of the person, anything that is identifiable for the police to drive by him and say, hey, that's him. And maybe he was the killer. Maybe that was his thing. He sees women who are hitchhiking or whatever and gives them a ride or gives them a tour. And, she might have answered questions for people who are looking for their lost people. And yeah, didn't do as far as I know. And I can't imagine that her marketing skill wouldn't have said, and I immediately called the police. I can't imagine that she wouldn't have done that, put it in her video that she called the police. So I can only assume that she did not. And, anytime you're out there RVing or anywhere on the planet, and you get the creepy feeling from somebody. Well, here's a good example. My daughter was 5 years old, and she and I were walking around what is basically a Hallmark store. And so she had her little purse over her shoulder and her, $10 or $20 in her little purse. And I was on the aisle on the other side of her, and you know, Hallmark stores, everything's glass and you can kind of see stuff. So anyway, a man was following her. Now, I think what he wanted was she kept opening her purse and going through her money, and then she'd close her purse. She's 5 or 6 or something. And I think he was going to steal her purse. And so, I immediately went over there and confronted him and said, I don't have any idea what you're up to, but get away from my child and get out of the store. And so, he went away. I went and told the people at the cash register with my daughter in tow. And I said, I think you should call the police. I said, I think he was going to assault my daughter in some way, maybe steal her purse or whatever. And of course, the police showed up pretty fast, in a couple minutes they were there. And the guy was gone. He was just gone. And so, and being a single woman in an RV, I've had, one time. I had one time. And this Carolyn has somebody doing weird shit to her, weird stuff to her all the time. All the time. And, I had one guy come up to me, or I had my RV parked. I was boondocking. There were other RVers not very far. I could have yelled and somebody would have come a running. But, he pulled in with his car, and he was, attempting to be involved, he pulled up in his car, and it was like dusk, not quite dark, not quite light. But anyway, he was kind of in his car for a while, and then he got out and he had to come all the way around to where I was. And of course, Zip was, bark, 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 bark. And so I said, can I help you with something? And it wasn't a friendly face. I did not make a friendly face. My face was, in 2 seconds, I'm going to kill you. And I have pent up rage. So look out. So anyway, it ended up that, why didn't she snap a picture of it? I totally agree. But, the guy, and I thought, well, maybe he's just thinking this is somebody that he knows, their RV. But anyway, he started backing up. And, I always leave something outside to hit somebody over the head with. And so, I picked that up, and it was a golf club, and I picked up my golf club and, made sure that he got back in his car, that he actually drove away. Now, when I went in my RV, probably an hour later, I get one of the tools that I use for safety is a hammer. And so, I got my hammer and I just laid it on the floor by the bed. And then I got my crossbow that Nana's Joy and I bought in Florida. And, I loaded it, put it on the floor by the front door, and, was ready for him to come back. I think if you're prepared, that's, definitely the way to go. And, but, this thing with Line Screw One and Caroline, what is it? By his, she made more money obviously than he did, because he doesn't monetize. And so, he was just giving her money, really, by creating controversy. And people do it all the time. People used to do it with Nomadic Fanatic all the time, just to get viewers or ratings or whatever on YouTube. And, the other thing that Carolyn does that's lethal, I think, is she does go to obscure, way off the beaten path kind of places. And, depending how physically fit you are and how many guns you own, that can be a dangerous proposition. And it amazes me that people don't call her out. But okay, I really didn't know until I watched the line screw thing that she was deleting things that she doesn't want people to see, you know. And let's see. If his car was parked and she saw it, why didn't she snap a picture? I don't know. I take pictures of cars all the time that I think are just like weird because I have no memory and I never have a pen or a piece of paper. But, you know, generally my phone's not very far. And so, yeah, click, 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 click. As a matter of fact,
This is a lot like like everybody's saying, is reality. It's like the reality thing, and she's putting on. This is her show.
yeah.
And so you kind of can't take everything verbatim. You kind of have to go with somewhere in between.
Okay, let me make a confession to all of you. RV Lady is a persona. Okay, not who I really am. For people who have met me, you know, I always explain to them, RV Lady's way, way nicer than I am typically. She's just a nicer person than I am. And I know this sounds really schizophrenic, but, and I'm not schizophrenic, but, you know, I created a persona and Carolyn may be doing the same thing too, but I don't think so. See, RV Lady's always like, you know, nice. I don't know how else to put it, except in comments. You know, if you attack me in comments, I'm after you. And that's more the real me. You know, it's RV Lady would never have a heart attack, but I would. If that makes any sense to you. But, you know, a lot of people create personas. Be nice. Okay. I mean, I'm real fun. I mean, the real me is actually more fun than RV Lady, just so I throw that in. But, you know, RV Lady's way nicer than who I am, really. She smiles more and she's, you know, always got makeup on and stuff like that. But the real me, no, not so much. Did I put on makeup for this? You know, yeah, I put on mascara and whatever. And mostly because I was going to talk about having a heart attack and I didn't want to scare people. And if you saw me, you would be scared and say, oh my God. But no, this message is held for review. Don't know why. Not me, no persona, just my name. And I'm a bitch. Not me. Deborah, what is this? Okay, RV Lady wouldn't like that. Yeah, the real me, yeah, I can definitely go with, yeah, people have described me as, yeah, the tornado bitch. So I totally get that. And so, and I can be that way, but, you know, unless somebody makes me mad or doesn't do what I say or, you know, whatever, I'm really bossy, where RV Lady isn't. She's like really nice and sweet. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that because it sounds really
You know that there's a thing called multiple personality.
Yeah, multiple personality disorder. Yeah. But when I was creating, you know, when I created the YouTube channel, I decided that RV Lady was going to be like nicer than me, you know, than who I am really. Well, what is it that Stephen King wrote for Dolores Claiborne? Sometimes being a bitch is the only thing you have left.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and that's kind of been my theory through life. Yeah, sometimes that's all you've got left. You know, especially dealing with, you know, bossy guys and stuff like that. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I wanted to talk about there is a group of people, I think they call themselves the tribe or whatever, and they're up in Colorado. Anybody know anything about this? What is this? What is this?
That's
What is-
Aja. That's Aja and
Yeah.
Destination Open Road, Wandering Jimmy,
Okay.
bunch of those.
They were the same people that were over in Arizona for the winter.
Right.
And what I thought was really interesting was Destination Open Road. They had to come down a few thousand feet because they couldn't breathe. And I think that for new or whatever RVers, new or experienced RVers, you always have to consider altitude. Now, see, I've always been really acutely aware of altitude because it affects my heart really bad. And let's see. Yes, I know them. Okay. And Terry Scott, Seth, etc. Yeah. But some people will go up to 10,000 feet. When you're in Colorado, it's easy to be at 10,000 feet. When you're in Denver, you're a mile up. So you're over 5,000 feet. What is it? 5,280. I mean, that's where you're starting, and then you're going higher.
Right.
So not only does it affect your RV and the tires, and your generator has to be reset to a higher altitude because there's not enough oxygen to run it like at sea level or 2,000 feet. There are things that have to be adjusted if you're going to go to that kind of atmosphere. And that's really what we're talking. Now, see, I would never go there because I would die, literally. And so, when you're making your plans and doing stuff, and the other thing about Colorado or that area of the country is they have the hail, and Destination also ran into that where the hail hit. And there was another gal, she home ports out of Florida, and I think she's Cuban. She's really pretty. She has a son that she drove around with. And
Simply RV.
is that what she was? She was with that guy that's Mike.
Living Free.
Yeah. And so they went out to Colorado, and the hail totaled her trailer that they were pulling, or whatever it was that they were driving.
It was a trailer, yeah.
It was a trailer, yeah. Totaled it. The insurance company said, yeah, no, we're not fixing this. And they totaled it out. And so she had to buy something else. But, that you really got to consider the elements when you're out there. Well, when you don't drink one drop of water, you're going to have problems. They didn't. They bought oxygen. Interesting thing about altitude sickness is, yeah, they say drink a lot of water, but it's really about oxygen.
I
and
I went up to Pikes Peak and they gave you water,
yeah.
to drink on the way up. I drank that water. I was so sick. I was
Yeah.
like a drunk person.
Yeah.
Staggering around. I could not wait to get down, and I was sick, felt sick all day.
Yeah. The nausea, the headaches, you get headaches, nausea, and you feel like there's a Volkswagen bug sitting on your chest.
Yeah.
And that's because your heart's not getting enough oxygen. If your heart's not getting enough oxygen, neither is your brain. And so when you're going up to, 10,000 feet, and then you don't have enough oxygen for your brain, you still have to drive down with the oxygen level being really low in your brain. So, people might want to consider that when they're going to altitude. But I think they eventually hi, Tony. I think they eventually came down. I'm talking about Destination.
They did.
Yeah, they weren't going to, because they were at 8,000 or 10,000 feet, and plus they had to go up another 3,000 or 4,000 feet. And yeah, some of us who go out there and travel around, it's not that we have health issues. I don't have any health issues, really. Well, I do now, but all our parts are old. Okay, all my parts are old. All my parts are 62 years old. So, you know, it's something to consider when you're out there trying to figure out where you're going to go. Because in the summertime, you know, you can't really go to the desert because it's 108. And when I say 108, it's dry heat, which means it's kind of like not having your iron on steam and then hitting your body with it. Yeah, at 108 degrees, it's very, very hot and very uncomfortable. You don't sweat then. It's just pulling the moisture out of your body at that point. But anyway, so I understand that some people have difficulty in finding some place that is comfortable to be. And so they head up and, or they go to Washington, Oregon, whatever, up there. Well, it's up for me. And basically stay cool, you know, or they head over to the California coast. And the problem with coming to the California coast is that there's no place to stay. You know, there are no vacancies in RV parks. There are state campgrounds that hold a couple of spaces for, okay, I'm not really sure why, but basically all of the RV parks year round are full. And it's crazy. And there is very little boondocking on the coast in California. So, and you're looking at generally about $100 a night plus electricity if you're going to stay like more than a week or something like that. It's actually very expensive. Anybody who's coming out to California, it's always a really good idea to look at rates for RV parks. And you're generally not going to find it on their websites. And that's because they can jack it up whenever they want if they don't put it on their website. And it's, you know, the crappiest RV park that you can imagine in your head is going to charge you $100 a night. And it's crazy though. What's gas up to now? Well, I think it's hovering about 350, you know, 349.9. I haven't really been paying attention because, you know, I had a heart attack. And so I haven't been watching it as closely as I typically do. Now, the interesting thing about California is the closer you are to a major freeway, the more expensive the gas is. Okay. So if you're by the freeway, gas is almost going to be $4 a gallon. You know, it's a lot. And then, you know, then there's you can literally drive down the street or whatever and go to another gas station and it's 30 or 40 cents cheaper a gallon. So, you know, when you have an RV, that makes a difference. You know, 20 cents a gallon makes a difference when you're filling up, you know, 55 or 60 gallons. Waco, Texas, $2.49. Well, the interesting thing about California is that, and when I say interesting, I mean crappy, is that it's mostly tax. Like our gas would be $2.79, but California taxes the gasoline at the pump. And so, and I think it's now over $1.25, something like that. And then there's state and then local tax on the pump. And so, and even out here, they've changed the law for electric vehicles, that what they're doing to those people is they're raising their Department of Motor Vehicle, their licensing fees. So that, and there's a portion of their licensing fees that goes to, you know, road construction and stuff like that. And, you know, California has to have a way to, I mean, there are millions and millions of people who live here. And they have to have a way to fix the roads. So I get it. But I think it's just a big giant slush fund that they dip into and go to, I don't know, London, or Israel or whatever.
Have a party and bring in call girls.
Yeah, that's, I honestly think that's what they're doing. Are you still living in your RV? Yeah. And I'm not at an RV park. Yeah, I live in my RV. I have figured out how to boondock in my area so I don't have to go to an RV park. And if anybody wants to come to the coast, just get a hold of me and I'll tell you how to do it. But yeah, I figured out all the free Wi-Fi places and I've had a blast, you know, trying to figure it out. Now, the thing that I have learned, in case RVers don't know this and they're traveling to metropolitan cities that have airports and or train station parking, to take a train or something like that, you can park there. It's generally free. And you can park there for as long as you want, as long as they don't have like security who's walking around saying, hey, you're not on a train, so get out of here. Like overnight parking, you can do that at and they're safe and they're well lit. And, but it's like a place I would have never thought. And I was talking to another RVer and he said, do you know that you can stay at train stations? And I said, no. And he was heading down to San Diego, the city proper. And I'm about 35, 40 miles north of there. Excuse me. And I said, where are you going to park your RV? And his RV was a little longer than mine, like 28 feet, and I'm 26. He says, I'm parking at the transit center. That's what they call them, transit center. And he said, you know, I can park there. And then he doesn't have a toad. And so he says, and then I can kind of cruise around the city on the trolleys and the various forms of transportation that they offer there. And because it's a metropolitan area, they don't want people driving. So there are easy, cheap ways of getting around. So he said he was going down there. And I said, no, I had no idea. So, you know, if you're driving through a big city, it's late and there's no Walmart. Yeah, Walmart. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not shopping at Walmart anymore. I am not shopping at Walmart anymore, ever. They have policies that are not friendly to RVers. And so, and I'm done with them. I'm just done. I bought a deep cycle battery from Walmart in November. Okay. So the battery failed and they tried to like charge it or whatever it is that they do with batteries. And so they would not give me my money back on the battery that I bought in November because it exceeded the 90 days and, you know, return policy or 30 days. I think they have 30 days now to return. I'm not even sure. But I said, well, aren't we dealing with the batteries warranty, which is a year? And she said, well, I can give you a in-store credit. And I said, okay, why would I want that? Help me here. Because she said, you know, we can either replace, the battery was leaking is why I took it back. It was leaking acid, you know, in my RV compartment. And so I said, you know, I'm not going to buy another battery here ever. But anyway, it was a big ordeal, but I ended up getting my money back, but also told her I will never shop at a Walmart ever. And I never go in there and spend less than like $150. So, you know, if anybody else wants to do that, yeah, do it. Walmart is just stupid. And I don't do stupid. I really don't. That's, yeah. I don't hate them because I don't really hate anything, but it's just bad business. And she was using the sympathy. She was playing the sympathy card that when that the employees are on a participation basis now with store revenue and stuff like that, which means Walmart is working towards making their customers, making their employees care more about money than you. That's what's happening. And so, and I don't like it. Have a new policy on large handbags you might try to carry into a locker. What? You know what I do? Just to teach them a really, really super valuable lesson. And this is not RV lady talking right now. This is like the real me. I would put my handbag empty into one of those lockers, lock it up, go shopping, not buy anything, come back, open that locker and say, oh my God, my purse is missing everything that was in it. Yeah, it's a big fat lie. And that's why I'm saying this is not RV lady. Yeah, where's my wallet? Where's my cell phone? Where's my? Because that's ridiculous. Here in California, at like 7-Eleven's convenience stores, and it's for kids. It isn't for adults. When kids go into those stores and they have backpacks on, like they're walking home from school and they're going to stop and get whatever it is that they want, they have to leave their backpacks at the front door. They're not allowed to walk through because they're little criminals and they, you know, shoplift. But yeah. Oh, the locker has a clear face. They expect that. Oh, see, they already know that they're going to make you mad. And so what they're doing is, you know, creating, it really wouldn't matter. And they probably have security cameras too. Okay, that might not work. Not really sure. But no, you know, they're treating customers like criminals. No. 7-Eleven can get away with it, but that's because they have criminals coming in there. And they're, you know, the kids are lifting candy bars and packages of like potato chips, snacky stuff. And, you know, just not a good thing. Okay, does anybody know any good gossip about anybody out there? You know, whatever happened to the guy who had the brain tumor? Oh, happily houseless? Anybody know whatever happened to him?
He went off Facebook and they just said they weren't going to do it anymore, and that's all I know.
Oh, so, you know, he never relapsed into the brain tumor thing or whatever?
Nobody knows.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like Jimmy Rance. Whatever happened to Jimmy Rance? You know, I know that he had, like, here in Texas, they're going to self-serve registers. We already have those in California, self-serve.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah. And in California, just in case you're ever coming here, if you go into any store, you have to bring in your own bags. Okay, they don't bag. I mean, they will bag your food and merchandise for you, but they'll charge you, I think it's 10 cents a bag to bag your stuff at the store. So, yeah, if you're ever going into a grocery store or whatever here, or convenience store, anywhere, department store, you have to bring your own bags. It's crazy. But what it's also done has increased the, you know, shoplifting. Because people fill up their bag. Because what people have the choice to do is you got the cart, you go around, put junk in your cart, you pull up to the cashier or not, you pay for stuff or not, and then you put all the stuff back in the cart without being bagged, and you drive it out the front door. And so most of the time during peak times, they have somebody standing at the door, you know, asking you for your receipt, like at Costco. But I've been in there many, 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 many times, and not that I'm ever going back. And yeah, nobody. I could have just filled up the cart and walked out the front door. They made a couple of videos a couple of months ago. Who did? Somewhere cold.
Happily houseless.
Okay. But haven't seen anything since. Moved into a house, no more traveling. Oh, that's interesting. That didn't last long. Yeah, I think it's really fascinating. Now, let me tell you, RV Lady may go, to oblivion. And the reason for that is because if my cardiologist says that I've done more damage to my heart than I surmise that I have, I can't do this anymore. I'm driving a 26-foot Class A. If I have a heart attack or some kind of cardiac event at the wheel of this thing, I'm going to kill people. I'll probably survive, but everybody around me will be dead. And though I was cleared to drive when I was released from the hospital. So I went in on the 10th, I got out on the 13th, and I was cleared to drive. But then, of course, they said, the next 30 days are going to tell us a great deal. And, I could drop dead right now. So I don't want to drop dead at the wheel and kill other people. I don't want to do that. And that would be horrible. But, I mean, to live through that would be horrible. But anyway, I may end up either parking the RV in an RV park, like forever, or buying a new RV and putting that in an RV park and then just hiring people to drive me around. Not really sure. Could switch to cooking and chatting. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you about cooking. I'm on a diabetic diet. Okay. You want to know what that is? Ick food. There is nothing fun about what I'm eating. It's all, here's what the cardiologist said. He said, you go into the grocery store, you go to the fruits and vegetable area. You can have as much of that as you want. Just fill up your cart. And then you get to go by the dairy section. You can get non-fat milk there. And I said, can I get butter? And he said, okay, no. I said, well, can I get cheese? And he said, okay, no. But you can get non-fat milk. And he said, then you go to, what was the other section I was allowed to go to? I don't know. I can't remember. But basically, that's it. Those are the two sections I get to shop in. Oh, the proteins. I can go to the meat department. I cannot have steak of any kind ever. No hamburger, nothing. It's even though they say, 27, 8, 30% fat reduction, whatever. No, and it's all cardiac killers. So no red meat. I can have fish and chicken and fruits and vegetables and non-fat milk. I'm not supposed to be drinking coffee. And notice how I said that. Not supposed to be. Yes, I am. And I'm not supposed to do tea. Oh, and I think Jimmy Rance is back online. Not sure. New wife. RV. Not sure. He's apparently not welcome in the same crowds. He's welcome in my crowd. I always thought he was like, and he was a persona, and that's what people didn't get. Jimmy Rance was a persona. But you know who else is on? Remember that guy? What was his name? He was down in Florida. He's a New Yorker. What is his name? I have to go to another YouTube place here. Let me see if I can go here and go to, how do I get there? I don't know. Let's go to this one. Let's go to, crap. Where is that? What is, maybe,
What did he talk about?
It's just nothing. What's new? Settings, missing features. I don't get this. Okay, switch me back. You know what I did was I tried that, the new version um, of YouTube, and it is just biting me in the ass. You know, it's like things just disappear. Send feedback. No, I don't, and it goes to send feedback every time. Okay, I don't know what his name is, damn it. And I can't get to my followers. Yeah, I can't get there. I don't know how to get there. Maybe if I click up here, maybe if I click over here, maybe if I click right there. No, that didn't help.
I like
But
Camper Van Kevin too, Tony.
Drory. Does that make sense? Was his name Drory something? Drory?
I don't
Okay.
know.
I can't remember. But anyway, he was on all those late night chats with Jimmy Rant and all those guys. And you know, I just thought that you know, he was like lived in New Jersey or New York, one of them, and then moved down to Florida to an RV park. And then when the troll thing got really, really super out of control, like, you know, 2 years ago or whatever, you know, everybody was just being bombarded with just horribleness. I think they attacked him and, you know, went away. And then there was that Elvis guy. Remember him? He was that horrible Arkansas guy that, um, um, maybe you don't remember. It was Elvis something. I don't know. But I always wonder where these people are. And when I go away, I hope y'all wonder where I went. And hope I'm not dead. Anyway, now I lost the feed on the messing around here. The quest, I can't read any of the comments now because I'm on the wrong page. Let me go here. Let me go here. Let me go here. Thank you.
They're talking about Camper Van Kevin. Everybody likes him and his dogs, and I do too. I enjoy him.
Yeah. I have here. I don't really watch him too much. I'm not really even sure why. It's you know, that's not what I want. Close. I don't know. It could be the dogs, but his dogs don't bark. My sister has Yorkies, and they bark and bark and bark, but his don't seem to bark, so that's not it. I don't know why I don't watch him. I watch him, you know, when he was in where he lives, Atlanta, Georgia, somewhere area. I he was cruising around on, and you know, in the forest or wherever, and I thought that was pretty interesting. But he breaks down a lot, doesn't he?
No.
Kind of a good thing. Yeah, Drory and Elvis made lots and lots of nasty comments too about women. Don't know about Drory. I don't remember. I mean, nobody ever said anything bad about me. But Elvis has pretty much become. Oh yeah. Well, he was just gross.
I remember the going here and there doing this and that. Mentioned Aja, Caravan, Carolyn, and Joey fight. I remember that from this past winter. That was instigated, I think, by Aja. Aja got her butt in a sling with people over that one, I think. So anyway,
What was it that they were fighting about?
well, they were the Three Musketeers, Aja, Carolyn, and RV Joey, were the kind of a Three Musketeers the winter before, and then Joey's kind of a I don't know what nutcase, kind of weird person, you know.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, they had a lot of fun together, and apparently Joy was really looking forward and had it in her mind that how it was going to be, and then Aja decided to get people to not be there when Joey was going to make her big entrance, and it hurt Joey's feelings because then then at first nobody would talk to her or whatever. I don't know. She didn't get the big fanfare she wanted, and there was a big falling out, and they kind of made up, but they never hung out together. Carolyn took off and hung with the guys, and Aja hung with the other little part of the tribe, and Joey went on about her business.
Huh. Okay, yeah, I don't watch them either, so I guess I totally missed that. The oh shoot, I had somebody else I was going to say. Whatever happened to? Oh, Chris and G. Do they still have a channel?
Yes, they do, but they're not. They're building that bus, and they don't put much on there now. If you watch Life is a Joy, he'll show up on that once in a while, because that guy helped Chris raise the roof on this school bus. But that's what Chris is doing this summer, is building out this school bus.
Oh, I thought they went solely to Patreon.
Every once in a while he does a video. I don't know if he's just on Patreon or not.
Well, he would have to do a video every once in a while to get new subscribers, because Patreon doesn't offer an avenue to get subscribers, really. You know, just people to support you, but not people to...
They're very few and far between, and he does put things on Facebook. You know,
I think, I have been working for 3 months to get Facebook to delete the account that they have for me there. And yeah, that seems to be a challenge for Facebook. So I was getting notifications. I don't even know why, because it's not like I ever like friended anybody or anything on Facebook. I created a Facebook account for, oh, this is going to get worse, for advertising purposes. And, you know, it just wasn't what I thought Facebook was. I do this all the time, and then I have to back out of everything. But that Joey is just weird. Well, I guess I'll check that out. Carolyn did a specific video on that. Carolyn did a specific video on, and which Carolyn is that? Because there's the bobbed hair Carolyn who drives around in a van.
Yeah, Caravan Carolyn.
Okay. And then, oh yeah, I think the last video I saw of her, she'd lost her cat in Laughlin or Barstow or somewhere, I don't even know. And yeah, something about losing her cat. And that was just weird. But I mean, it wasn't weird, because the animals jump out of vehicles all the time and they get left behind. And, you know, it just happens. But I'm really surprised that, no, I'm not. Okay. I don't know why I haven't lost Zip yet, quite honestly. What is interesting about Zip is Zip is extremely attached to me. I am the center of his universe. He knows nothing else. It's horrible. Yeah, Laughlin. When I went to the hospital by paramedics, he and I drove over here to my daughter and son-in-law's house. My daughter and I were going to spend the day together. Zip came with. I put Zip out in the backyard because my grandson is, you know, going to be 2 this year. And Zip is like so excited to see their dog that sometimes, you know, he'll knock the kid over and stuff like that. So anyway, the point of this being, I got in the ambulance and they took me away, and Zip was in the backyard. And so suddenly I wasn't there. He wasn't hearing my voice. He had no idea where I went. He ran away looking for me. He was gone for hours, and hours and hours and hours. And they drove around and all this stuff. And, you know, they know I'm at the hospital having a heart attack. And they were like, we don't need to lose her dog, because then we have to go to the hospital and say, oh yeah, you had a heart attack and we lost your dog. bonus. So anyway, it ended up, and he had his collar on. When I'm in the metropolitan areas of any kind, I always put his collar on. So he had that on. And, I said, go get the RV, bring the RV over and just park it on the street. Leave the door open and he'll come and get in the RV. I said, or put the RV in your driveway, just leave the door open and he'll get in the RV. So that's exactly what happened. That's how they got him back. It was like, they tried to stay up late looking for him and stuff like that. And there was just no finding him. And so he was hiding. And so it ended up that they left the door open. He saw the RV. I said, drive it around the block once because he's not leaving any further than the block. Drive it around the block. He's going to hear it and he'll come to the RV. So sure enough, by morning, he was in the RV. And then my daughter went to go try to get him out of the RV so he could go potty. And yeah, he snapped at her. So he wasn't getting out of the RV. And so when I saw her, when she came to visit me at the hospital, I told her, I said, don't worry about it. Let him, poop or whatever in the RV. I don't care. It's fine. I can throw all this stuff away. Not a big deal. And so that's exactly what happened. He ended up like, the throw rug is his go-to. And so, he pooped all over the throw rug and, fine. I don't care. But yeah, now he's more clingy. It's Crazyville. There you are. Okay. I was like, where did this joy go?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. So are people gossiping on the side and I'm just so busy talking about myself? I just loathe
Yes, we're talking about Aja.
Okay. See, not familiar with her. And I mean, I am familiar from the standpoint I know there's an Aja and I know that she makes YouTube, she has a YouTube channel. And I may have watched her once, but I think I maybe confused her with somebody else. And some girl that lives in New York, lives in her van or something in New York City, which I think is like really fascinating. But Aja puts it right in her about, what is that? Who's the transsexual?
Aja.
Oh, Aja's the transsexual.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I had no idea. Huh. I don't know. Someone asked the question. I did not know she was transgender. Not that I have any problem with transgenders, but it's just kind of interesting that, because I always thought she wore a wig. And, I was curious about the whole wig effect, but I don't know if she wears a wig or not. I really don't know. I have no idea. But her hair kind of always looks like she's got a wig on. But, whatever. Well, that's okay. I thought so. But she seems to be a woman, at least I know. Well, haven't some of you hung out with her? Does anybody know? There was one transgender person that I knew. And, I was pretty upfront about it. So, she had trans to a woman. So however you say that, I have no idea. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I just don't have any idea. But, she was really insecure. And the only reason it wasn't because the way she looked, it was the deepness of her voice is what grabbed my attention. And I thought, well, is this a man or a woman? I don't know. So, but she was attractive, but it was the voice that gave her away. Going here and there. It's in a little bio thing. Now what are we talking about?
Aja. It's in her explanation, her channel explanation, that she is transgender. I've never read it, so I didn't know that.
Oh, well, this is going to really sound crappy, but several years ago, 15 years ago, I had a friend who, after knowing her for a year and a half, 2 years. She was talking to somebody on the phone, and I think I was over borrowing an outfit or something. But anyway, long story short being, she was gay. And the person she was having the conversation was her girlfriend. And I didn't know she was gay. I didn't care, but I didn't know she was gay. And so, basically, she was all worried that I was going to, I don't know, have an opinion. Here was my opinion. You don't want to have sex with my daughter, do you? And she said no. And I said, do you want to have sex with me? And she said no. And I said, okay, I have no problem with this. But and I've had many, 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 many gay friends over the course of my life. And so the go back to that one. The woman, she comes out and says, I'm gay, and I just, really didn't know how you felt about it. And I said, well, if you don't want to sleep with me or my daughter, I'm okay with it, because I don't care who you sleep with. And I saw her several years later. This is the point. And she was no longer gay. She was.
How do you do that?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But she was no longer a lesbian, and she was in a committed relationship with a man. And so I was like, really? How do you do that?
She must be bi.
Who knows? Maybe it was trending on, Twitter, be gay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be.
I have no idea. But, obviously there is some confusion there. I mean, the woman was married. She got divorced because she wanted to have a gay relationship with this woman. That then it was just all so completely bizarre to me. Our kids played together. I mean, that was really our association. And then we, became closer friends, whatever. But I saw her, and we did a beach day, and she was telling me that she was no longer gay, and I didn't understand that. And she was trying to explain it to me really bad. You'd think she'd practice by now, but I think she threw out all her friends and just got new friends. That didn't know that she was ever gay, because he wasn't aware that she had, been a lesbian for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, whatever. And it kind of scares me about transgenders. I really am scared for them because of her. Suppose you just think you want to be a guy, but then one day, several years later, you wake up and say, no, I think I really am a woman, or vice versa. Doesn't matter either way, but you've already spent $80,000 on cosmetic surgery. So she was actually bisexual and chose a man instead of a woman. Well, I guess for now. Does that make sense? Who knows what she's doing now? I guess she's bisexual. I don't know. Bruce Jenner broke my heart. See, I don't even care. And, the writing was kind of on the wall on that. I don't know why it surprised anybody. He kept getting plastic surgery and, morphing more and more into being very feminine. And, but that whole group is just Whackville. And,
That's true.
So
the whole clan is all screwed up.
They are. And, you got to really appreciate the fact that O.J. Simpson probably did that to them, really sent them into wacky land. Because Kardashian was one of O.J. Simpson's lawyers. And so, that's their claim to fame. And that he was a successful lawyer that got O.J. off.
Yeah.
So, but whatever. Yeah, that whole, they're all wacko. They're just plastic surgery crazy, and, they're skin deep people. They would be scary people to me to be around, because you don't really know who they are because they've had so much plastic surgery. I mean,
Daryl, Daryl Smith wants to know who the little hand and foot is behind you.
Oh, it's my grandson. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. My daughter made these for me when I was in the hospital. And, you know, she was trying to make my room something. And yeah, you know, I knew I wasn't there for long. And so I brought him back and put him up here. And this is the other thing that I totally forgot to tell you guys about the heart attack thing is when you have a heart attack, you are going to take medication for the rest of your life. Okay. And when I say that, I mean, I think I take 18, 20 pills a day. Something like that. Not really even sure. But, and I don't even know what they are or what they do. Don't care. But I got out of the hospital on Wednesday and then went back. I was back in by, I think it was Saturday. I went back into the hospital. Did I write it down? The 16th. No, wait a minute. This is number 2. Yeah, I went back in the hospital on the 16th. And what was happening was the medication that the doctor prescribed wasn't working. And that was the blood thinner. And it wasn't working. It wasn't thinning my blood enough. And so I now have a great grandson. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, but you know, that's the other thing, the 30-day thing, is your body's adjusting to medication. The other thing that I did for myself was I spent 15 years on antidepressants because the world makes me insane. And so I went back on, literally, I went back on antidepressants to do something about my stress level. And so now I'm also on antidepressants and then all the heart medication along with all the cholesterol medication along with it, with whatever else, you know, kills you. He's a chunky monkey. Those are the best. Chunky monkeys are the best babies. You know, because they don't cry and they're happy.
And they're healthy.
Yeah, and they just want to eat and sleep and breathe.
Yeah.
And that's all they want to do. And chunky babies are the best. And I had a chunky baby. My daughter had a chunky baby. Yeah, it's just the best. And I've known people who had slim or small babies. Yeah, miserable. The baby's miserable. And the colicky and whatever reason the kids cry. Yeah, my daughter rarely cried. Very rarely. Her son, same deal. Now he's going through the whining thing. If he doesn't get the way he wants, you know, if you don't do what he says, he whines at you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, last night he was doing it to me. And so I was just whined back. I was, you know, you're like, wee. And it like freaked him out. And he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's not working. Okay. But I don't know. How long have we been doing this?
Hour and a half.
Oh, that's not so bad. Okay, anybody have any good gossip or anything left to say? And you know, let's do it now. And I think oh, a really good laugh. What's her name? Nomadness.
No madness or something like that. Yeah.
No madness. How is Zip now? You know, over there. Waiting to be a pain in my tush. Zip is great. I actually gave him a bath yesterday because he was filthy. But he's real happy. I would call him over here, but I know he'd come. The problem that I'm having with him right now is he's very needy. And so to represent that need so that it really gets my attention is he gets on me. Okay, he literally tries to get in my lap. Now I'm on a very, very serious blood thinner. And so sometimes he uses his paws and his nails to better hold on to me when he's trying to get on me. So anyway, he has cut me. And so basically, I guess the rule is if you bleed for more than 10 minutes or whatever, it's all gushing out or whatever, because I can bleed to death very easily. So, you know, I mean, the last instruction the nurse gave me when I left the hospital the last time is don't get cut. And, you know, and I think she said, you know, if you don't clot within 15 or 20 minutes, go to the hospital. And, yeah, so that's why I'm saying, you know, I have to keep him at arm's length so he doesn't cut me. And of course, you know, when I got home the first time from the hospital, yeah, jumped on me, cut me. I thought he was going to jump on me, physically on me. John's still sick and in and out of the hospital, currently home for the last 3 days. Well, that's good. But yeah, Zip is fine, and
Oh, excuse me.
he is really enjoying having a canine companion. Not that I'm getting him one, but you know, my daughter and son-in-law's dog. And then the place where I hang out when I'm in the RV, you know, like cruising around, is over by the beach. And there is a big walking circle. It's I think it's 3/4 of a mile. It's to do one loop is 3/4 of a mile. So I basically have been when I felt like it, felt, you know, good enough. But that's where I go and walk Zip. And there are other dogs that go there. So it's like this big canine, you know, concert. It's real fun for him. He likes going there. But that's where I was when I had to leave and, you know, go take aspirin. Oh. But anybody have any questions? Anybody still there?
Tony says check in more often if you can.
Well, yeah, I'm really, I mean, other than this period of time right now, I've been really, really busy. 27 days, and he's already over 10 pounds. Zip, there is no barking. You know, it's okay, I forgot what I was going to say because this dog is barking. It's a man in the other chair.
He's talking about me. He thinks I'm a man or whoever it is.
Who is this?
I don't know.
Who's the other person? It shows. Who is Vinkersh?
It's Nana's Joy who's showing. That's me.
Oh, I know that. Oh, are you talking to me?
That's how I'm telling whoever this vicar or Irishman or whatever.
Oh. What is this? Oh, I see. Who's the other person? It shows. What shows? I don't know.
He sees me in a chair.
Oh. Yeah. That's what it is. It's a ladies chat group. We're just chatting about nothing and or everything. Oh, ladies women thing. It really isn't a ladies women thing. Oh, yeah, it kind of is. But you know, we like to hear from men, but I guess I trained them really, really well. And they don't show up now.
As long as they don't show their parts.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Is that a man? Oh, is it a man in the other chair? No, that's Nana's Joy. And I'm not a man either. I'm RV lady, not a man. And oh, that nomadness. You know, people ask her if she's a man or a trans or whatever. Apparently she had some kind of thyroid condition, something, who knows. And it made her voice, but I don't think she sounds like a man at all. But maybe I'm just not a really good judge of that. Not sure. But if you haven't watched her kind of roast that Caroline woman, you might want to watch that because that's pretty funny.
Yeah, some of the stuff she gets kind of old with, what she talks about, but
The only thing that I've ever watched is her talking about Caroline or Carolyn or whatever her name is.
yeah.
And I don't mind if people roast me. It's I take it all in stride. It's just you're in a public forum basically, and people will make fun of you or ridicule you or whatever, which is why I've never wanted to be a famous person ever. And why I don't use my real name. There's a lot that goes into being the exposure that you're under. But and if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. But anyway, she does the most hysterical roast of this Carolyn. Who is that? I don't even know Nomad Ness.
Yeah.
And she's married to a healthcare provider. I don't know what he does.
Traveling nurse or something.
Yeah, traveling nurse. And they were in Florida in an RV, and then not suddenly, it was doing the roasting. That is, yeah. That's this Nomad Ness. NOD, nomad. No, how do you spell nomad? You can tell it's after 3 o'clock. It's like,
and then there's a dash after that. Ness.
Yeah, nomad dash Ness.
Yeah.
And it's she just makes fun of her, and it's funny. To me, it's really, really funny. And not only that, remember that puppet guy who made the
Yeah.
He did apparently one of her, but I missed it. Because I'm not going to watch him because he would never make a puppet about me. Bum me out. I'm not interesting enough to be a puppet. So, yeah. Hey, here's something. Nah, I'm not even going to go there because, I really don't care what the answer is. When I subscribe to everyone, want to keep up with you all. This is fun. Okay. We'll probably do this again whenever. I'm not maintaining any kind of schedule as it pertains to videos. Naz Joy has never done that. And she just puts them up when they're up. And but yeah, it's like when I subscribe to somebody, I'm really interested to know what they're doing, or I wouldn't subscribe. Yeah. So, and I unsubscribe people because now I don't care what they're doing.
Well, a couple of us have to heal pretty good too, so we can't keep a schedule. We got to heal.
Oh, you've never kept a schedule. You've never done that. You've never Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or
No. I worked and I had to keep a schedule. I don't work anymore. I don't have to keep a schedule.
See, I get that too. Now I am working, so I have to keep a schedule. But my schedule is mine to make up. And then that's the other thing is I have to get up every 2 hours. So I set my phone when I sit down to start working, and then I set it for 2 hours, and then it goes off, and I have to get up and go do something else. I can't, and it has to be for a minimum of 15 minutes. Get up, be in a straight position so that my femoral artery, heals correctly and stuff like that. And I don't get all bunched up and make my heart work real hard. So let's see. Graced Beyond. Have missed these live shows. The humor is always uplifting and a fun group to watch. Thanks. That was nice. I enjoy these. I like them. I really like doing them sporadically, as opposed to the set schedule. And because, the reason I didn't like the set schedule was because I always had to show up. You guys, it was arbitrary, but I had to show up. Yeah, didn't like that. Not getting paid enough money. You know, so no matter what I was doing, I had to show up. I had to stop doing what I was doing and show up. So,
You're the leader of the tribe.
no, what is this tribe thing? I'm not a
That's
tribe member. I'm not a Native American. I always equate, you know, certain words with where they belong. And, you know,
it's a groupie statement.
well, I know, but you know, they could use entourage. They could use pack. You know, why tribe? You know, they could say this is, you know, we're the something pack, or the van pack. I don't know, something. But tribe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. And, you know, if you watched me for any length of time or read me for any length of time, you know that I'm like amazingly opinionated. And I need to understand things. Things have to be logical for me.
Yeah.
And that's like the real me, not the RV lady me.
And they probably don't give a damn whether you like it or not.
Yeah, honestly, that's really true. Yeah. But I guess we should maybe stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's stop. And we'll do this again in future. Don't know when, not promising. I might be dead, so don't know. Living one day at a time. And yeah, they may blow my heart up next week. Don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I could be in the home by that time.
Yeah. I just, you know, just please, I don't want to be in a coma. You know, that to me just doesn't sound like any fun at all. Going here and there. Okay, let's see. Good night, ladies. So enjoyed. Thank you so much, Bunny. Appreciate it. Let's see. Going here and there. Okay, got that one. Okay. Okay. So let's say good night. Good night.
Good night, all.
Okay, be well, save up all your gossip, and yeah, let's get it down and dirty gossipy thing. Let's improve, but in an improvement sort of way, not in a, you know, just being catty sort of way, but in a, you know, improvement sort of way. I'm not really sure what I mean about that either. So yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, whatever. Okay, bye everybody.
See ya.
Smile, be brave.